Motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay.
Hearing is now open.
This is the public hearing for the USDA Rural Utility Services application City of Ballinger has in with that agency. This is part of the application process. Our application is at the state level at the moment, is that correct, Kim?
Yes.
Where it will be reviewed and then sent on to the national office for consideration. We'll open this up. It's 5:02. I would recommend that we give the public some time to show up in case someone does show up and want to be here. What I will do is I will go through this presentation as quickly as possible. Don't want to, most of the people in here are familiar with it, but if somebody does have questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Ken Martin with Jacob Martin Engineering, who's our consulting engineer, who we have procured properly, is here today. Little inside jokes there. Ken's got a nice big map. I think you may have some 11 by 17s if someone's interested, or did you just bring a big one? That's the route of the proposed pipeline that we're going to do. And so, did you have a question, Ms. Hawkins?
That's the only thing I haven't really reported on yet.
It is the route.
The route.
Okay. We'll see if we can get you a smaller size PDF or something.
Okay.
Does it hurt us in any way to publish the route prior to contacting the landowners? Pardon? Does it hurt us to publish the route prior to contacting landowners? Okay.
No,
I just didn't think if we gave somebody time enough to lawyer up.
Actually, as you know, part of the application is the archaeological survey, and parts of the archaeological survey, we have to contact the landowners anyway
Okay.
in order to get their permission for the archaeologists to get on their property.
I just want to make sure we weren't hurting Ballinger, but.
No,
Yeah.
If they haven't been contacted by AR, they're about to be.
yeah. Would you like me to give her a copy of this?
Sure.
Yeah.
I understand. It's very valid because
Mhm.
they're about to find out.
Of course, it's just preliminary.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk and talk. Y'all actually pay me to walk and talk, right?
No, we don't want you doing 15
We don't know,
minutes.
don't hurt yourself.
Well, there's no trees around, so. Okay. This is our presentation. Corey said this would be fail-safe, which means we're gonna have a problem here in a second. And right off the bat,
And it's good.
You have to find it somewhere.
no,
Is it on?
it's on.
There we go.
Okay. Development of this project. Okay, we're not, okay. Here we go. As y'all know, Fort Campbell Hill is about 10 miles north of Abilene. It's been there for nearly 100 years. For decades, CCEQ had adjudicated permit number 124151 for the production of electricity. The priority date for these rights is 1928. No priority date exists. That was run by AEP and a number of other electric providers. In the early 2000s, it was bought over by Eagle Construction. They bought it primarily to scrap the parts of the lake, but they also acquired the permit when they did it. They tried to sell that permit to multiple parties, including the City of Abilene, on multiple occasions. In 2013, Clyde purchased the water rights from them on November 13th, 2013. They also, we'll get into this a little bit later, secured what's called an interbasin transfer, which means you can take water out of the Brazos Basin and put it into the Colorado Basin. It was limited in scope, but it was limited to the counties of Callahan, Eastland, Taylor, Runnels, and others. And as you know, we are located in Runnels County. Here we go, the interbasin transfer for 2,500 acre feet. Obviously, Clyde's not going to transfer all of their water purchase out. They would want to secure some for their municipal consumption. 2,500 acre feet of water for ag, municipal, industrial, and mining usage in Callahan, Eastland, Taylor, Reynolds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The interbasin transfer is also secured here by TCEQ. This was confirmed to the city of Ballinger in June of 2015 when we met with them. This is the proposed line that goes from Lake Ivy at the very top, or Lake Ivy, excuse me, Fort Phantom. At the very top left, you'll see the proposed intake pump station. And then this will travel, the green part is going to be a shared line between Clyde and Ballinger. It'll be an 18-inch line, is that right? 18-inch line, which is large enough to haul 2,500 acre feet of water per year. You'll see where the line turns into a dot blue. And you'll also see called the diversion point from Ballinger Clyde. We will share everything in the green. Where it goes blue, it'll turn to Clyde, and then you'll see our proposed line a little bit later. And of course, Ken has a larger map for that. Our current situation, we lack a viable water source. Friar Hubert Wade had one of the best things I ever heard at Lions Club. Talking about how full Lake Ballinger was. And I said, well, we're at about 3% capacity. And he said, well, 3% is 97% empty. And so that really stuck with me. That's when I started telling the paper we're only 3% full. As of today, Lake Ballinger is probably about 3% or maybe a little bit more. Is that what you'd say, Randy?
That's probably 5 to 7.
Well, we've doubled our productivity. We've got 3 to 6. From a nickel to a dime. Long story short, the city of Ballinger has not factored Lake Ballinger into any supply projects past 2016. We believe we'll be able to get through the summer with the recent rainfall, but it's not a viable resource. It's gone dry 3 or 4 times since the mid-80s.
It's gone dry since 97, 3 times.
Okay.
Prior to that, it had never been dry.
So in the last 20 years, it's gone dry 3 times?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our other option, as you guys know, and I apologize, this is going to be repetitive for everybody up here. I'm just, is Lake O.H. Ivy. The cost of the water there is unsustainable, and Lake O.H. Ivy is running dry. Obviously, that's a little different than what it is today, but it's still at 14%. It's nowhere near where it was 20 years ago. As of today, it's 13.9% full. I think it's 14 now. And that number, I expect that number to actually go up a little bit. Elm Creek is flowing pretty good. It might push 15 and a half. Who knows? Water is expensive, always will be, but we are on an unsustainable path. That's a quote from Darlene Kelly, the Mayor Pro Tem. If you look at this, when we started our contract with Ivy in 2006, we were roughly making a payment of $12,150. And of course, we had annual transmission costs from Abilene, which averaged about $50,000. So we were paying just under $200,000 a year. In 10 years, that number has jumped to $307,000. But if you look between 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, it's jumped roughly 10, 15% every year. We expect those numbers to go up and increase as Lake Ivy continues to be without water. Obviously, if there's less water to sell, they're going to maximize their ability for every ounce of water in that lake. There's a little chart that shows you where we are. We started out at 0.8946 per thousand, and now it's at $1.58 per thousand. That's going to go up in October. It's a 75% increase over a 10-year period, and it's only going to get worse from here. Until Ivy fills up completely is when we see that thing flattening out, but I don't see Ivy filling up completely. I think there's a chart, in fact there's a couple of slides back. You can see the historical data of Ivy, where it comes into play, it fills up like in 1991, and then it just drops. I mean, it's just a sharp decline historically. And so it filled up and it's never really filled back up again. Projected cost for 500 acre feet moving forward. This is at an estimated, I want to say 12% increase. This is actually lower than what we've seen. Mr. Quapple.
Greetings.
This is actually lower than what we've seen in the last years. By 2030, if we stay on this path, we're going to spend roughly $1.8 million a year for the pleasure of getting water out of Ivy. And that's only 500 acre feet of water, which is not meeting our demands. That number is significant because it's money that we have to spend before a drop of water touches our infrastructure. It's money that we have to allocate. We have to pay that freight before it gets to us. That's the cover charge to the water park. That's the ticket that gets you in the door. There's the graph which shows the increases by 2030, excuse me. Our need for water, this should be I think everybody knows this, but we're of great concern. 72% of our untreated water supply comes from Ivy, roughly 28%. So it's a 70-30, 80-20 Ivy, Lake Ballinger mix. It's almost, Lake Ballinger's almost empty, kind of goes over that. This is an interesting slide. This is Lake Ballinger full in 2005. 2008, 2015. Look at something here. Y'all all know where the little picnic area is? Y'all see that? The little S curve right there in the kind of the middle. Watch how that happens over historical view. The green's the water. That picnic area, you could probably run a quarter-mile race on it if you wanted to. That little land bridge, you can barely see it, that's called the Coffer Dam. We actually built that dam in 2013, Steve?
No, it was later than that, or earlier than that.
Okay. We built the Coffer Dam, and I wish the pointer thing worked. At the upper part, you'll see our intake coming off the main road, coming off the road. That is what we actually pump out of. The lower part has more water in it, but the intake is higher than the bottom. So we have to pump that over. When we run out of water to pump, we run out of water in the lake. Does that make sense? Is that clear as mud? No pun intended. Here's another look. Corey Van Zandt does a great job with this. Everything in red is what a full Lake Ballinger looks like. Everything in blue is where it is in 2015. That's how much water we're missing from our reservoir right now. And again, if any of this is surprising to you, you've been in a coma. 2005 Ivy. See this little divot right here on the very end on this, kind of going from the left back up? That's the Concho coming into Ivy. Watch this. Full in 08. In 2014, it's nearly non-existent. It's almost not there anymore. It lost one of its main arteries for supply. This is our secondary water supply. Ballinger's our primary, this is our secondary. We have a good history of tapping into lakes that go dry. Yellow is a full Ivy, blue is where we are in 2015. And the recent rains will not impact this at all. Same thing with Lake Ballinger. We're going to need a flooding event to fill those two reservoirs. The alternatives that we considered, one of the things that we did was local surface areas. The lakes are small, and there's susceptible to drought. That would be Lake Ballinger, that would be Lake Ivy. We tried to obtain additional water from OH Ivy. It's going dry. We tried to do the water swap with the City of Abilene. Norm Archibald told us last July that they didn't think it'd be prudent for Abilene to pursue this proposal, so we eliminated that as an alternative. The water swap was we would buy water out of Phantom and swap it for Ivy water. The City of Abilene did not agree with that. We made a good faith effort with those guys. We also approached the City of Coleman to obtain untreated water out of Cords Creek, and they declined to participate with Ballinger on this project. We did reuse. I don't think this was a very viable option. It was one of the requirements that USDA made us put in to get funding. Their national objective is more reuse than anything else. You had to have a reuse component in there, so we did. Basically, Ken's statement is this: we have no source water for reuse water. You're going to have a source to produce reuse, and we simply don't have the source. Groundwater. This was the Brunt project that you guys are very familiar with. It was cost prohibitive due to the level of treatment required to bring water to the acceptable contaminant levels and the limited supply of groundwater available. Also, there was some questions about whether or not it was alluvial, was it influenced by the Colorado River, and negotiations with the ownership at the time. There was just too many conflicting answers, and it was deemed not feasible by both the city and the engineer. A no action alternative, I like this quote, there's a definite cost to doing nothing. I think we have thoroughly explored involuntarily the do nothing option, and I think we can eliminate that one from our repertoire. The recommended plan of action is the Lake Fort Phantom Hill. Forest Cloud, this is Randy's quote, our best opportunity to solve our water woes in the last 17 years. We've been on water restrictions since 1999. There's an entire generation of residents in Ballinger who do not know that you can water your yard more than one day a week. Fact's a fact. We're going to acquire 1,250 acre feet of water rights from the Lake Fort Phantom. This is from Clyde's portion of the 2,500. Clyde will construct a pipeline from Fort Phantom Hill that we're going to share. That was the green line that we talked about earlier. There will be a pump station at the intersection of FM18 and 603 in Callahan County. Ever been to Eula, Texas? There's a gas station right there when you come off of 20, you're on 603, you're heading south. There's a little gas station there. This project comes to fruition, there'll be a pump station right across the street from that gas station. It's the property of the City of Ballinger. And that's where we'll divert from Clyde. We'll look through the 14-inch pipeline south and west to Randy's office at the water treatment plant. It will literally go into Randy's office. And a groundwater storage, we'll also construct a storage tank near the lawn to help serve as elevated storage for the gravity flow. We're going to pump, we'll pump one time out in the lake, one time to the diversion point,
Yes.
and then one time at the lawn, correct?
Yeah, actually, one at the lake, one intermediate, and then you'll pump at the diversion point, and that's it.
And then we'll go to the storage tank and then gravity. And then gravity, okay. Or somewhere. This is the line, and it's a horrible picture, and I do apologize for that. Maybe if I had a better engineer, no, I'm just kidding. That is our line. You kind of see the red starts up there at the top. That's Eula. It'll come down. Randy, myself, and Clyde actually drove this thing back in February? January?
Yeah, February.
Most of it's on county road. It will go on private property at some point. But it'll come down, it'll skirt, you know where Clark Road is when you go into Abilene. It's a big farmer market road. It's off to the right. We'll come down that right of way. We'll go down 83. When we get to Tuscola, right before you get to Tuscola, there's a left. And you can see a little subdivision of houses over there. That's a county road. We'll actually put it in the bar and go straight down that county road. That's that one big drop over there. You'll see, I think, where it makes that little jet over to the left, where lawn is, that's where we're going to put our storage tank. And then we'll kind of meander through that pass. Most of this is on county roads, some of it's on private property. We'll skirt Elm Creek Lake over by Winters. Will still continue to come down via County Road, and then we're going to come in on 83 and actually go back around by Buddy's, and then come into the water treatment plant. We will avoid the Hillcrest. Is that addition? We're going to avoid that completely. So we're going to stay in the county or out of city infrastructure. The rule of thumb is for every piece of utilities that we need to remove or replace or whatever, we have to pay for. So the less utilities, that's why I'm going straight through the city of Abilene at this time is not really a viable option. There's just too many utilities that we would have to deal with. The Fort Fannin, as we know, it's 100% full. That says as of April 27th, you can put that as May 2nd. It was running over spillway last week. This is a collaborative effort between Clyde and the City of Ballinger. It's unique that you got two cities of like size working together. We're working cooperatively. We want to keep our costs down. That's why you're sharing the pipe. Me and Keith Selman had the thought that it didn't make any sense to put two 14-inch lines in side by side. Why not just put one in and share the cost? The bulk of the project, though, is the installation of the pipe from the Clyde diversion point to the Ballinger Water Treatment Plant. That's where the bulk of these costs are going to come from. We do have an option agreement with the City of Clyde. It's been extended to January of 2017. That date's soft. We can probably extend it further, especially as they see us making more strides. The project schedule, we should, if everything goes as planned, this thing would be completed by October of 2018, which is about 2 years away, 2.5 years away. That schedule could be accelerated, just depends on USDA funding. The project cost is $30 million. It represents clearly the largest infrastructure project in the history of Ballinger, Texas. I would also make the argument it's one of the most important. If you don't have water, it doesn't really matter. There's a great quote from C.O. Richards, who I guess y'all all know. Randy may know him. History shows that those cities have gone broke getting water, but many have without it. Without water, none of us will be here to complain about our water bills. That was out of the Ballinger Ledger in 1982. We can break down the cost and go into that if y'all have any other questions of the cost, but the bottom line is going to be about $30 million. The actual water right itself, the water purchase, is about $5.5 million, 5.4 exactly. And there are some costs that we're going to share with Clyde on the pipe. You're looking at about $17 million on the line itself. So it's a healthy project. This is another table that we have to put in here. Mayor Mallory has suggested that without significant grant assistance, this project will not be economically viable for the city of Ballinger. Right now, we pay $40 base and $7.80 per thousand. Outside the city limits, it's $60 and $9, and our wholesale water rates actually should be $15 per thousand on that. Without any assistance, they're estimating our base rate will go up to $86. That is a number that can be negotiated and can be done. It's not feasible from our standpoint. If we don't get grant assistance, I don't see us pursuing this project. USDA assistance, we qualify, well, I actually didn't repeat this. We are eligible for the following. Subsidized interest rate right now is at 2%. It's going to reset itself in October. A 40-year note. But the final thing is we are eligible for 75% grant of the $30 million. Now, whether we get the 75% is unknown. Just because you're eligible for it doesn't mean you get it. But that's where we are right now. This is an email from John Powell, who's the regional director at USDA in Abilene. He says that he believes that they will qualify for the poverty rate if we can justify the problem with our current TCEQ violation. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about TCEQ violation.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if you read on there, it says something about lead and stuff, copper,
Yes.
explain.
Which one of you two want to answer that question?
We didn't have a lead copper violation. The problem was when we did our lead copper sampling 3 years ago, we didn't notify the customer of their results.
Oh,
But we did not have a lead copper violation
okay,
per se.
okay,
So, but that's been taken care of.
okay,
We took the sample, we just didn't tell them to.
okay.
The other violations that we have, the THMs, which is what's the most common violation, that's due because we're pumping from the bottom of the lake.
Right.
I mean, when you're pumping mud, you're pumping mud. Phantom would alleviate that. But one of the things you have to qualify for poverty is it has to address a health, safety, and welfare need. We have made the argument, I think successfully, that if you don't have water, it is a health, safety, and welfare need. So in summation, Clyde owns 2,500 acre feet. We're going to buy half of that. Primary water source is dry. The secondary water source has about 18 months of water in it. We've explored numerous alternatives with no success. We purchased the water rights, install pipe, and connect Lake Fort Fountain to the Ballinger Water Treatment Plant. The cost is $30 million, which requires approval from the National Office of USDA. Anything over $5 million triggers a DC decision. It can't be made in Abilene or Temple. Ballinger is eligible for a low interest rate as well as 75% of the grant funds. Grant funds are needed to make this project effective for the city of Ballinger. Without this project, we're going to run out of water. We're running out of water sources and our supply for our residents and our businesses. This project is the last best hope Ballinger has in solving our water supply issue, as well as securing the water for needs for our future. This is not a luxury. This is not a luxury. This is the project we must have for our city's water needs. Questions? Questions from council? Yes, sir.
Obviously, the full lakes of the water quality is fairly good right now at Fort Phantom. Is it a good water source? I mean, because Ivy is pretty.
Ivy's salty. And what kind of water, the water quality that we're getting out of Phantom versus what City of Abilene seeing in their?
I think the chlorides in Abilene are about 30. I don't know what the chlorides are in Ivy.
I don't have it in front of me, but it's high.
Yeah, and their TDS out of Abilene is probably total dissolved solids of maybe 250 or 300 or something like that, probably.
What's our TDS?
As of yesterday, it was 300, but we've got this fresh rainwater.
What was it a month ago?
A month ago, it was probably running 980.
If Ivy doesn't fill up, can we expect the number to be closer to 980 than it is 300?
Oh, yeah.
Even if Ivy fills up, traditionally Ivy's been very poor water quality.
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
And more expensive. It costs us more money with the RO. It's just harder.
It has a whole lot more vegetation around it than Phantom does.
Did we answer your question?
Personal.
Go ahead. That's what this is for.
Water restrictions in 2018, if Ballinger Lake stays the same, Lake Ivy stays the same. We try to still allow more watering to generate some revenue for the city. I know that's a problem because I would assume it would be a problem not having water revenue come in.
This project will, right now we're using around 400,000 gallons of water a day. That's about right, isn't it?
Yeah.
This will bring 1.2 to to Ballinger, so it's gonna triple the availability of water that we have. Once you get on FAM and water supply is no longer an issue, I would expect the water restrictions would go away. You'd probably have some reasonable water restrictions, no water in between 10 and 3, and all those other things. But the water calendar, as we know it, would go away. That's my anticipation.
Well, the state of Texas now, since everybody's in conservation mode all the time, they want you to have some type of voluntary,
Right, it needs to.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it makes good sense to not water your yard when it's 110 degrees at 4 o'clock in the evening.
It's all weeds now anyway, so.
It's always.
The complexity is, we have a take or pay with Ivy today.
Yes.
And that's 400 and something thousand gallons a day, and you're gonna pay for it whether you use it or not, and honestly, it's gonna evaporate if you don't use it. So, you know, and I don't think we could, I think we're gonna have to do an advertising campaign of some kind of green lawn contest to get people to actually start watering again.
Yes. One of the questions that Randy and I have gone back and forth with is what's the actual demand from Ballinger? Because we have been on restrictions since 1999. And we don't know, like Philip alluded to, we don't know what they're going to do when the water's available. But I would expect the water restrictions to go away. The other thing in here is, and I glossed over it, the 1928 priority date is probably the linchpin for this project, or at least in my opinion. The council may weigh it differently, but I think we're all in agreement. That's the senior priority date on Flake Fork FAM. What that means is, and this is very, very simple. You have this water bottle here. If it's 100% full, right, this is a family. Abilene owns all this stuff right here. We would own this. You're essentially buying the water at the bottom of the lake. What it means is that we could, in fact, make a call on the city of Abilene to stop pumping out of FAM. Now, I don't ever foresee that. But there is no other priority date on the lake to 1928. That was a question I asked on point to TCEQ last summer. And they answered it very politically. We enforce all senior dates. That, in my mind, is the linchpin of this whole deal. It's ownership of water on a reservoir that no one can tell us. I mean, obviously, there's conservation, and there's other sort of things that they can do. But at the end of the day, unless it goes completely dry, we still have that water. Is that a fair analogy?
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I got one. Sure. Okay, so you get the grant. That takes up 75% of your cost. So
Yes.
you have roughly $2.5 million.
Give or take.
How long will that take for Ballinger to pay off?
It's a 40-year note at 2%. So 40 years. We could pay it off sooner, but it's a 40-year note at 2%.
So that $300,000 or that $200,000 a year
Yes.
will go to that loan.
Yes.
Okay, so after that, that $200,000 is staying in your pocket, or Ballinger's pocket.
It goes not to my pockets.
No,
My pocket. Technically, that's what we shield.
Not.
Yeah, unlike Ivy, where if you stay on Ivy, you're making a perpetual payment every month, every year, as long as you're on it. That's renting. This is ownership. So once you have paid off the mortgage to your house, you're not making a payment to the bank. That's how we kind of view this. And so we can apply the $300,000 that we're sending. It's right now the check's what? We got to write tomorrow. We already paid for that. Are we ahead?
Well, we are in
Remember the water or the bond?
The check from Miller's View.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's 21,000 and change, call it 22,000, that's what we're paying right now. That check, that number can be applied to the purchase of Faneuil. We would no longer be getting water off of Ivy through Miller's View Dual Water Supply Corporation.
Is there anything to do with that pipeline that the city built from the Abilene pipeline down to that?
Is there anything, can we incorporate that?
I mean, is there a use for it? Will there be a use for it there? Is that just gonna be a standby or
It
somebody
is,
else use it and buy it from us or?
yes, it is an asset that's in the ground, and depending on who, what, when, where, and why, we will make the most use of that asset. There will be opportunities for that pipe to get used.
How long is that pipeline?
10 miles?
15.
15 miles.
And it's a smaller,
It's a 10-inch line.
that's why we can only get so much water.
But it's also a free flow, so.
That's all for flow.
Yeah.
And if we're pulling off of their storage tank, at Talpa, if that tank is low, then we don't get much gallons per minute to the plant. Now, if it's full, we get more.
Get more.
Yeah. Again, we're dependent on that one.
Correct.
And I think that's a point that we're not relying on Abilene or San Angelo or anyone else. We were relying on ourselves. It would, when we started this process, we wanted a couple of goals. One was water independence, water ownership, and we wanted to be cost effective.
And back to Ken's question about that pipeline, that could be used for emergency use if something just blew up and we didn't have a way to get water from Faneuil. You've always fall back on. Because Abilene's not gonna stop pumping water out of Ivy.
Now, as long as Ivy has water, they're gonna.
They have a south side plant that has to have water in it, so there will be water going through it. Any questions from you guys? The fact that y'all didn't even blink through this whole thing, y'all actually paid attention, so it's. I do want to say this. Yes, go ahead. No, you're fine.
I'm sorry, I missed the very first part. So when's the timetable for it to get this approved?
Great question. We have an application in template at the moment. It'll be moved to the national office. The national office is aware of this project. They will not comment on it until they actually receive it.
Because y'all went up to what?
It could get approved July to October. It's kind of the window we're looking at from there.
That's what you base your completion of 2018 at?
Yeah. There's another way that could get approved maybe sooner than that, but it's kind of a long shot, so I'm not really putting a lot of hope into it. I hope Ken Mark can call me one day and say, yes, we're ready to go. Yes, ma'am.
What about the application to the Texas Water Development Board? I mean, could that cover some of the $7 million cost that you're gonna have if you get the 75% here? What are you gonna do?
We put what she's referring to is we put a $30 million PIF into the Water Development Board, Project Information Form. It's the same project that you just saw, but it's with the state agency, not with USDA. We did that to hedge our bets. If one comes up short, we might have to be able to access funds from another. We think we're going to be competitive in both applications, both with the USDA and with Water Development. Ultimately, I can see us having a mixture of both funds to fund this entire project.
Okay.
We're not going to rule anything out.
Both of them are 30 million?
Well, yes,
Okay.
they're essentially for the same project.
Okay.
They're worded a little bit differently to meet the various requirements, but they're fundamentally the same project.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
It's gonna miss a question.
Well, I'm just waiting for Mr. Quality.
Keep asking, kid.
You what?
Don't stop now. Keep on.
And I do want to say this. This group of people right here, all of them, even Mo,
Even both.
these guys, I've been doing this for 2 years. I think Phil's been doing this for 10.
Yeah, I don't know. Darlene and I both, 10, 11.
Just the fact that they're still dealing with this and they're still committed to it, just the idea of supplying water for Ballinger. During this process, when you're trying to go get water out of Brunt, or you're trying to go get water out of a Hallelujah well, it's not Hallelujah nor a well. When you're dealing with other cities who have less control over their city councils than you do, at any point in time, it would have been easy for these 6 individuals up here to simply throw their hands up and say, I'm done. Throw in the towel. I'm not saying that thought never entered their minds individually, but corporately, they have stuck with it. They have stuck this thing out. I don't think people understand nor appreciate the time they put into it, the excitement and frustration that they've experienced. We've got an answer, we don't have an answer, we've got an answer, we don't have an answer. Serving up here, I mean, no one's gonna feel sorry for them, right? I mean, they're doing it for the money.
Yeah.
Sure.
Serving up here is one of the hardest, and this has got to be one of the hardest things they're going to do. They have not haphazardly let this thing go. That lady right there has questioned nearly everything. Nearly everything, and I like that. If you don't think this council hasn't held me accountable, hasn't held Randy or Steve or Debbie or Bonita, if you don't think they've held us accountable on every phase of this project, you're nuts. I don't think Ballinger understands or appreciates how lucky you are to have this council at this point in your history. Because they have done a tremendous job. And they have told me no on more than one occasion on this. They have guided us very, very well. And they had no idea I was going to say this. And they probably are going to get mad at me when this is over with. I don't really care. But they've done a hell of a job trying to bring a solution to the table. We think we got one.
So the trench to the Mississippi is out of the question.
Hey,
Sorry, I couldn't.
I think we did discuss that one night.
It was brought up.
We couldn't figure out how to get the rubber hose from over there to here.
The problem is we already know what the cost is to go 70 miles.
Yeah.
Well,
When you start incurring that one, it's like, wow.
Well, if someone would give us free gas, we'd probably make that happen.
When did I get you?
I don't think an above ground pipeline like coming out of Alaska for oil would work to pump water from the Mississippi to Texas.
It actually would.
Yeah, but it would be a big expense.
One of the things we discovered throughout this entire process, and I think this is, I want to steal Philip's line, so I want to botch it, but, and if you were, and Darlene's heard me yell this to somebody before, we don't have a water supply problem in Texas. We have a water distribution problem in Texas. There's a lake 40 miles away from us that's going over the spillway. Whitney is what, 120 miles at the most?
No, we can go out more than that.
200? It's flooded. East Texas is basically just a lake with little islands in the cities. We don't have a supply problem here. We have to figure out a way to pump water from East Texas to West Texas. But until that day comes, and that's one of the things that Sam and I, first 6 months, we're hey, let's figure out how to pump this water over here. That's not going to happen. That's the level of conversation we were having to flesh this thing out. And it's I know Sam was frustrated. I mean, we drove home from Boston one day, and he didn't talk until we got to Dairy Queen and Gulfport. And then he said, I want a blizzard, and he didn't say that.
You forgot, get out of my own way, blizzard. Get out of my way.
Well, you did say something to the old man walking in the door, but that's okay. But we don't have a supply problem, we have a distribution problem. We have too many politicos in Austin that have made this process far more difficult than it has to be. And you can quote me.
And there again, and this is
They're on their radar.
this is statewide off the Texas Water Data. I guess what they monitor, waterdatafortexas.org. But statewide, we're at 87.4% full. You go back 3-4 years ago, we were down in the high 60s to low 70s. You know, so statewide, you start looking, and this is frustrating to me, is this is only lakes they monitor, folks. There's not all the lakes on there. Ballinger's not in there. Other lakes around the area. Elm Creek's not on there. There's different areas that aren't even in this reporting. So the ones that they are reporting and keeping up, it's 87.4% full today and rising because of the rain we've got in the state. That's positive, in my book. At least there's water in the state around us. It's our turn. That's what I said. It's our turn.
So, Ken, did you want to add anything? By the way, this is Ken Martin. He's our engineer on this project. He's done a yeoman's job with us. He's only gotten to know us for about a year, and he hasn't fired us yet, so that's always positive.
No, I think you've done a good job. I mean, you've outlined all of the things that have been discussed. You know, the whole idea behind getting connected to Phantom started with Clyde purchasing those water rights. And then they started marketing that, and of course we mentioned that to you guys, and you said, yeah, that's something we might be interested in talking about. And so,
And I think it's important for folks in Ballinger to know. Ken Martin actually approached us with the idea of the possibility of this whole thing. This is not a nuance. This wasn't like they woke up one day and said, "Oh, we were in Houston, I believe, at a TML conference, and we just had a conversation over dinner about water." And he interviewed, and I knew Keith Tillman, and Keith Tillman knew me, and Ken kind of played matchmaker, and we ran with it from there. That's the whole genesis of this thing.
and the other thing is you've tried to involve all of your neighbors. I mean, we met with Coleman more than once, and of course there's been conversations with Bront and Robert Lee, and I know you probably talked to Winters, so you've tried to involve all of your neighbors. Miles.
We have personally gone to each of those council
Yeah.
meetings, and we've sat in their meetings. We were either on the agenda or in their executive meetings, and we visited with them in person.
So it's not like you've tried to uncover every stone to see who would participate, who would be a part of it. You know, any funding agency, they want to know that you've done everything you can to search out all the alternatives, and I think you've done that.
I think we have to.
I get tickled with people in Austin when they call complaining, you know, about water quality or something like that. And the first words out of their mouth is, we all need to get an alternative water source, like there's one just right down the street. If they don't get out of that 5x5 cubicle, they have no idea.
That's right.
And I'll get to your question, but one would piggyback. One of the alternatives we looked at was brackish water, and we talked about Bront. But the first 2 or 3 weeks I'm on the job, Steve and Stan and myself, we went to Coleman, and we visited with this guy who's drilling oil. And we said, you know, can we get the driller's logs? You know, what kind of water quality you get and whatever. And they were drilling the well as a test site for an oil company, and they were gonna inject the salt water into this well. We get the driller's logs, and we send them to the hydrologist in Austin. And the hydrologist calls us back about 3 weeks later, and he just kind of chuckled, and he says, you know, you would be better off if you just got the oil company to inject the well into your lake, because the water quality is going to be better than what you're going to get out of this well. And that was a well, where was that well at? Right outside of.
Yeah, about 3 miles out.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
we
not
not
far.
only did that, we had a different firm look at all of the different
Yeah.
potential brackish water in all southern Reynolds County that would be feasible, and they finally gave up. They just said, we can't find anything that's feasible of any size and that could be cost effective. And they were convinced they were gonna help us out.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
look at Eden.
Eden too.
Yeah. Water out of Eden was 140
You
degrees.
just gotta have radiation treatment,
Yeah.
which RO is enough for us, we don't need RO and radiation.
Yes, sir, you had a question.
This may be way in the future, but when our lake fills up and we have the,
Oh, you're honest.
it will one day.
There you go.
Cost kind of plan. When y'all visit with those other, entities, did y'all talk about selling water to them possibly?
There's been discussions of selling water to other communities. My priority is
Right.
city,
You hear first.
my priority is Ballinger first and foremost.
Right.
And because we don't know what the true demand is, we're not going to rule it out, but it's not the first thing I'm thinking about. I mean, I want to make sure that my guys, the city, is taken care of.
What's what I say when the lake fills up there?
I'm talking about for today, I'm talking about for the next 10 years, 20 years, or whatever. I want to make sure we're provided for and taken care of before we go out and sell water. Any other city, I'd say, yeah, absolutely. But in Ballinger, water is commerce around here, so.
Theoretically, if we're a responsible city, we'll look at something like that. I'm not gonna be on the council then, I think when everything's full and rosy, but I will come to the meetings and harass people.
You go,
Look, old man syndrome.
I'll have forgotten what I remembered, but back to his earlier point, you know, it is a distribution issue. I mean, and here we are trying to deal with these cities that, you know, they smile until you mention water. And then they, you know, you can't get out of the door fast enough. But I think we're gonna have to look, as a city, whoever's on the council, is gonna have to look at that in the future, that if we have water source, if we have plenty of water to meet our needs, we need to cooperate. Sure. Because it is a distribution issue. And as soon as Austin figures that out, instead of building lakes, we start building distribution, you know, networks, well, we could make a lot of hay there.
I agree.
That's my podium now, I'm on.
Oh, wait a second.
But distribution does work because they're doing it at the opportunity up at Louisville.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge up there. They had, I couldn't tell you how many miles, I know that they had,
72 miles.
well, that's just one pipeline that I
Yeah.
remember. And they had a 72-mile line, a 77-mile line, they have 5, 6, or 7 lakes tied together, pushing and pulling water, and they're supplying 24 cities with like 72 million gallons a day. All run through one treatment plant and doing, reuse off most of their sewer plants where they're feeding them to one location. So yeah, they've got a huge deal up there, but that's been in process for over 25 years. And it had one man's vision, and he started with that vision, and we've sat down with him. And it was funny because, you know, Brown was like, well, how long have you been here? He said, 25 years. Well, how long has this been in existence? 25 years. And then it finally clicks when we sit down and have our meeting. He goes, this is his deal. This is his vision. You know, now he's not on the board, but he still sits in, you know, and gives direction. But he's a super, super, super awesome guy to sit down with. But it's already working up in that area. There's no reason it can't work elsewhere. It's already been proven.
And I know Lake Texoma had the gates open again.
Yes, ma'am.
it's full.
I think someone said this earlier today, it might have been Philip or maybe Sam. This time last year, Lake Travis was 76 feet below.
Mhm.
They opened up the spillway 2 weeks ago. This time last year, Lake Ballinger.
What'd you say?
It's kind of hard not to take it
Yeah, take
personal.
some
You live in
more
Massachusetts.
information.
I mean, because it's pretty centralized right around
I
us.
have a friend that went up there and took a picture, showed it.
They tell me showing full and overfull.
I'd like to challenge Randy's ability to treat clean water.
Randy will go. Randy will, they ain't got no challenge now. I quit.
I just thought it was all mud, that's all.
And we got a $12 million RO plan. And I think water in Ballinger there's a lot of people who are still stuck in 1984 when you couldn't wash your whites because they all turned orange. Yeah. This man can make the sign if he wanted to. or Ozarka, depending on who's running the plant that day. We got good staff here. We've got great infrastructure here, and the citizens of Ballinger are paid for that. It's time to maximize it. And then I understand we're looking to spend some money on this, but it's time to maximize what we've already invested in. We've replaced water lines. We've replaced distribution lines. We're going to start replacing mains. But all this, ma'am,
And meters?
and meters. Yeah. Oh, we forgot about the meters. We're going to replace every single water meter in town with a smart meter. We're doing a lot of things other communities wish they could do. But the one thing that's held us back from an economic development standpoint or just a stability standpoint is water. We can't do the other things this council wants to go do until we have the water puzzle solved. And that's not in here, but that's just one of those facts of life. If 3M came over here and said, we want to add 1,200 new jobs, we would welcome it. But then I've got to go put Randy on the spot and say, we're going to open up 1,500 new accounts. Can we handle that? To which Randy's going to say, I quit. We can't do what we ultimately want to do until we get the water thing solved. I think y'all agree with me. We haven't had that discussion, but
You know, it's day one.
We did. We had that discussion when we hired you.
well,
Remember?
yes, we did. But
We've got to fill up water and then we can look at all the fun stuff.
I do remember that. I do.
I think Sam said the top 3 things you got are water, water, water.
Water. Actually, Sunday was the 2-year anniversary of me announcing I was leaving and coming here. So, and y'all are just shaking your head for 2 years. So what did we get?
Where'd you come from?
Randy.
Where'd you come from?
Anson, Texas.
I think they're in the news right now, aren't they, with their,
They're in what?
in the news with their,
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. You'll get a definite no comment.
How many times did it go dry that you can remember?
What?
The old lady.
The old way?
3 or 4 times.
I came here in 1971 and it went virtually dry twice before they built the new one. Since 71.
Yeah, when we were building the new one, the old one was nearly dry.
Really dry?
And then when they got the dam finished on the new one, they were releasing water out of Spence and bringing it down the river, and we were pumping it out of the river into the new. That's when you had to put a bobby pin on your nose to take a shower, it stunk so bad.
That was before the treatment plant was built and we were getting Gatorade water, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I moved here. That's when even if you made coffee, you could take it.
Yeah. That's when everybody got on bottled water.
Yeah. You know,
Well,
the
I know
water,
the old lake used to turn over and it used to be
Oh, yeah. Good.
stinky
No,
mess.
I'm talking about 2002. When it was just recently when they were running that Spence water down and did it again, I guess.
Well,
Using that Spence water.
we did that once.
Yeah.
in maybe '04,
Yeah,
and, they didn't have much water in Spence, but,
that was enough, I promise.
yeah, but we were pumping it into the lake.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite an operation.
Mm-hmm.
We spent most of our time hauling diesel to the river to run pumps.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, issues? Y'all have anything you want?
I'm just ready to get on the project.
Last year, 2 years ago, we are too.
I've been ready for 2 years. Council, y'all got anything you want to say or add or take away from,
Thank you, doing a good job.
I would ask Bonnie if there's anything she wants to say, but she gives me her opinion after y'all leave.
If we don't have water, like it said, we won't have a city.
No problem.
It'll be gone, dried up, blow away.
We're going to tell
Yes,
Talbot, you busy?
yes.
I thought that was the place where they had barbecue.
That's all.
That's Valero.
Yeah, there, that's it. It's that, hey, he knows.
You need to get out of town more.
I don't think anybody from Denver City should make fun of anybody else's town.
That's fact.
That's a fact.
Now, tell you what, we'll trade oil wells.
Yeah.
For what?
We'll give them trees and they give us oil wells. How does that sound?
Well, I'm only gonna add this, what we told the Water Development Board was, we don't have to stop. We're not stopping, we're not letting up, we're gonna continue moving forward in whatever direction we can, however fast we can. Whether it's a foot a day, 1,000 feet a day, whatever it is, we're gonna keep going forward. We're not gonna let up on this. We can't, not at this point. And we're hopefully projecting that once this is in place and once it's going, this is, when we first came on, it was basically, we were looking at what do we do today for tomorrow, for the next 3 to 5 generations? You're looking at the next 30, 40, 50 years. This project, to us, is a 50-year project, if not more. It has to be. For the sustainability and the viability of this city to continue.
And the end goal is cheap water.
Yes, it is.
I mean, that is the issue, that you have affordable water. And so, we realize our rates are high today, but when you rent your water, you really don't get to pick.
Yeah.
And so, we want water to be affordable, and believe me, I mean, I pay my water bills when I water my yard. I want water to be affordable.
Yeah.
And so that's what our goal is, because you gotta have the water and it's gotta be affordable to our citizens.
Well, I can remember prior to when we built the lake, I think water rates were $14.50 for the first 3,000 and $3 per thousand after that. And people still gripe about high water rates.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what you need to know about water rates. We have, and I've acknowledged this publicly, privately, anywhere else, we have some of the highest water rates in the state of Texas. If you go 25 miles down the road, they have some of the cheapest water rates in the state of Texas. The difference, besides the number of connections and so on and so forth, they own a lake and we don't. They own their house and they've had their house paid off for a long time. We don't own it. And that, in my mind, is one of the biggest, just the disparity. It's not because you go over to Coke County, you pay a premium for having, they got to lower the water rates for people who live there. Although that would be the worst idea in the world. But they have ownership of their water source. We do not have ownership of our water source. We are subject to the whims of one man. Whatever he decides to charge us, we're going to get charged. So, any other comments? Bonita's got a hot date, so.
It's supper.
Well, if there's no other comments, then I recommend that we close the public hearing and adjourn.
Motion to close public hearing.
Make that motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn. Second,
Second.
Listen, just follow here.